I remember hearing about from David Hilliard, one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, that Donald Trump got the Black Panther Party affordable housing during the movement back in the day in NYC when they couldn't find affordable housing or an ideal housing situation, that Donald Trump himself actually helped the Black Panther Party secure housing in New York City. According to David Hilliard, one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party and also of the Black Panther leadership.
That's a pretty interesting piece of oral history. So yeah, David Hilliard did mention that basically that Donald Trump helped the Panthers out with some housing in New York City at the time when they needed it.
And also, let me talk about the Central Park Five as it relates to Trump. I know Trump gets unfair blame for the situation of those boys, them young boys who are now men. But my thing about it is how is Donald Trump blamed when he was a private citizen and public figure who paid for a chance to voice his opinion based on what the mass media was saying at the time about the guilt of the young boys in question? And also, did not some of the young boys confess to a crime they did not commit? And also, were it not the Democratic Party who was in power in the DA office and the mayor's office that really railroaded the Central Park Five and not Donald Trump, who did not hold a public office at the time?
Yeah, you make a good point about the context. Donald Trump was indeed a private citizen at the time, and he took out those full-page ads calling for the return of the death penalty based on what was being reported in the media at the time. And yes, those young men did give false confessions under a lot of pressure, and the prosecution was definitely driven by the authorities in power at the time, which were city officials in the DA's office. So while Trump's ad certainly amplified the public pressure, he wasn't the one in office making illegal decisions. It was really the sentiment officials at the time who were responsible for the wrongful prosecution. So yeah, that's an important distinction.
Is it not true that the lead prosecutor, one of the lead prosecutors, a white female, is a big time donor of the Democratic Party to this day? And also, you remember back in 2024 during the National Democratic Convention that you had members of the Central Park Five calling out Trump when the Democratic Party has been taking money from the same folks that put them in prison when they were kids.
Linda Fairstein, who was one of the key prosecutors in the Central Park 5 case, has indeed been associated with Democratic circles, and it's definitely a complex situation when you see the Central Park 5 speaking at a Democratic event, given that some of the individuals involved in the prosecution were also linked to that party. It just goes to show that history and politics can be pretty tangled, and sometimes the full picture is more complicated than it first appears.